In this video, we're going to look at how to run PowerShell Universal quickly inside Azure using web app containers. So I'm going to create a new web app in my Azure portal here. I'll just click Create, and I'll create a new resource group for this demo. And we'll click OK. Let's try that again. And then we're going to change it from the publish methods from code to container. And it's going to load the region. It's going to load my Linux web app plan. And then from there, I'm going to hit Next to select the container. I'm going to select the Docker Hub or other repositories. We have a special container just for Azure now. And this is actually set up so that it stores files in the correct location so that we can make it persistent without having to set up any kind of file mounts or anything like that. It just stores it all in the built-in storage that you can switch on. So I am just going to grab this image and tag, so we'll put that here, and we just paste that there. And then I'm going to pretty much leave everything as default and click Review and Create. So now this is going to go ahead and create my web app once it prompts me here. So now I'll click Create, and Azure is going to go out and start that deployment of my web app. Now my web app has been deployed. I'm going to click Go to Resource. So now we have a PowerShell Universal instance running inside Azure. Right now, the persistence will not be enabled because we need to specify an environment variable for Linux containers to do that. So there's this website's enable app service storage. As you can see, currently it's false. If we set that to true, our web app will now be persistent. So I'll apply that, click Apply, save the changes, and then we'll go visit our web app. Now that we have our web app all configured for persistence, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go browse to my web app. You can see here's the PowerShell Universal login page. We'll log into this instance. It is currently empty. You can see here there's a node name. We could actually specify a static node name with an environment variable. But I am just going to create a script in here. And we'll just do test. Click OK. It's going to create a new script. I can add some code to this script, like get process. Save that. Changes are saved. And then I can run my script. And you can see that it is running two processes only, .NET and the Universal Server inside my container. So if I were to actually go ahead and stop this container, what we're going to see is I will no longer be able to access my web app when it finally stops. Usually this takes a second. Now you can see PowerShell Universal is loading again after my container stop and start. And if we log into our container, or our PowerShell Universal instance in our container, you'll see that I have my job history still because the database was stored locally inside that container, and we're using the Azure storage to do so. And we can go look in our automation section here and see that our test.ps1 is also persistent. So this particular method of hosting in Azure gives you a really quick, easy way to get started with PowerShell Universal with very minimal configuration. You can set up PowerShell Universal the same way, but by setting some connection strings in the environment variable to use things like Git and SQL storage rather than the local SQLite database, which it's using right here. But again, this is a super easy way to kind of play around with hosting PowerShell Universal in Azure.